The Santiago Bernabeu has seen it all, from miracles to disasters.
Pero estamos llevando a que el Valencia ayer pegó un repaso en el Bernabéu. No, perdóname.
Tácticamente sí.
Perdóname.
Carlos Corberán da una lección táctica a Carlo Ancelotti. Ayer sí.
O sea, ayer el Valencia, te digo, ni siquiera defiende bien.
And last season, it was disaster.
Y las estrellas que no se vean a la altura o no les apetezca correr sabiendo que vienen de un año de no ganar nada, una cosa es que tú vengas de ganar el triplete, de ganar el doblete o de ganar la Champions. Ahí yo entiendo que la gente se relaje. El madridismo está hundido porque no se ha ganado nada. Y el Barcelona gana el triplete.
And nada pleat. No La Liga. No Champions League.
There's no way he does it again. There's no way he does it again. Rice for the double.
No Copa del Rey. Barcelona took everything and left Madrid in ruins. Enter Xabi Alonso.
So on Monday, Xabi Alonso put pen to paper on a contract which sees him take charge at Real Madrid, replacing Carlo Ancelotti, of course, who's headed to South America to take over at Brazil. This is what Xabi Alonso had to say as part of his press conference. We want to bring emotion and joy to the fans. We want those who come in the stadium to enjoy themselves and those watching on television to say, that's my Real Madrid. If we manage to do that, we'll be an unstoppable force.
The man who achieved the impossible, taking Bayer Leverkusen to their first ever Bundesliga title, breaking Bayern Munich's decade-long stranglehold on German football.
No surprise, it is the Xabi Alonso and Bayer Leverkusen celebrations that dominate the sporting headlines in Spain and Germany. We've got Leverkusen intoxicated, of course, beer flowing freely. The champion miracle, says Bild. Meanwhile, AS goes with the new Kaiser.
Now he steps into the biggest job of his life, restoring glory to Real Madrid. And if you think he's here just to compete, you're dead wrong. He's here to dominate.
Who wants to change some of the mindsets, who clearly has some ideas about the structure of this team and wants to play differently. And in order to do that, you need to be listened to by your players.
The early signs were already there at the Club World Cup. Dazzling wins against Borussia Dortmund and Juventus.
Alexander-Arnold! There's the header!
But then, the PSG nightmare brought back old ghosts.
Another mistake. Dembele, fleet-footed.
Xabi knows that's over. He's building something new, something terrifying. Just listen to these names: Kylian Mbappe, Vinicius Jr., Arda Güler, Federico Valverde, Thibaut Courtois, Fran Garcia, Gonzalo Garcia, the crown jewel of La Fabrica. And now add the reinforcements: Dean Huijsen, Alvaro Carreras, Franco Mastantuono, Trent Alexander-Arnold. This isn't just a squad, this is an arsenal. An arsenal built to play Xabi's football. Intense, intelligent, ruthless. Florentino Perez has gone all in on a massive rebuild, not just to fight back against Barcelona, but to bring back the Madrid that competes for everything. And this season, they might just take it all.
So Alonso got the magic wand then, the other great man.
I just think they've got better players, and I think most of the time last year, as much as we're focusing on this moment in time about Kylian Mbappe and Vinny Jr., the problems last year were in defence. If you watch the games, if you watch the early rounds of the Champions League games, it was at right back where Lucas Vazquez had to fill in. And eventually Fede Valverde went back there because they had so many problems. It was when Raul Asensio came back in and had to partner Rudiger, or Rudiger was injured and Tchouameni went back in. Ferland Mendy at left back and then Fran Garcia at left back. They weren't good enough. They've addressed all of those issues in the summer. Dean Howson's come in, Trent's come in, Carreras has come in.
Last season, we saw one of the most disappointing campaigns from Real Madrid in years. Even after finally signing Kylian Mbappe, following 7 years of chasing him, he publicly embarrassed the club.
Pour Kylian, vous savez, vous imaginez, les Madridistas sont dessus. Si vous avez un message pour le supporter du Real, merci.
Non, si j'ai un message, déjà, c'est de les remercier, parce que j'ai jamais porté le maillot du Real Madrid. Si, je l'ai porté à 14 ans, une semaine.
Before securing a massive contract with Los Blancos.
Mbappé ya es jugador del Real Madrid. Han pasado 7 años desde el primer intento y muchas cosas en ese camino. Pero como dice Mbappé, es un sueño hecho realidad.
Even so, Mbappe didn't make an immediate impact and went missing on the big nights.
a un montón de jugadores bien. Y este chico es una sombra, es un recuerdo, una sombra del futbolista que un día vimos que parece ser que marcaba las distancias.
Finally, the French superstar delivered individually while the team collapsed collectively. Yes, Mbappe scored 43 goals and added 5 assists in all competitions, numbers worthy of a Ballon d'Or. But as Luis Enrique once said,
Os dije que me encantaría que hubiera, en vez de un jugador que marque 40 goles, 4 que marcaran 12 cada uno. Ya hay 2 que han superado con creces esos números y invitamos a los demás, y ese es nuestro objetivo como equipo, mejorar.
On paper, this was one of the most talented squads in the world. Vinicius Jr., Mbappe, Bellingham, Rodrigo, Endrick. Yet they finished second in La Liga, winless against their biggest rivals, and humiliated by Barcelona 4 times. 4-0 at the Bernabeu.
But Madrid were so careless in front of goals. In front of goal, it was such a lackluster performance from Mbappe. I was really surprised at his inability to stay on side, because it comes down just to timing. You get 1, 2, 3, but 8 times he was offside in this match. And Vinny Jr., it felt like all this Ballon d'Or talk went to his head, because there was one opportunity where he cuts inside and he opts for a near post finish, what we've seen Mbappe do over the years, and he doesn't even put it on target. And he had the whole goal to choose from. Not only a pass to Mbappe that could have went in for a tap-in, but it felt like he was selfish in the wrong moments in this match. And then Mbappe was just...
In the Supercopa final, 3-2 in the Copa del Rey.
Obviously not exactly where we expect ever Real Madrid to be, and Carlo Ancelotti as well. They lose Copa del Rey. Their only chance now at a trophy is La Liga, and they sit 4 points behind this Barcelona side, and like we mentioned, they play one more time against them. What can you say about just this season for Real Madrid and how poorly it's gone?
And 4-3 in the last Clásico of the season. They never looked like they could compete, not physically, not mentally. Europe offered no refuge. There were shocking home defeats to Milan and Lille, another loss to Liverpool, and a controversial quarter-final qualification past Atletico de Madrid thanks to a disallowed Julian Alvarez penalty. Then came the Arsenal disaster, 3-0 at the Emirates, 2-1 at home, with Declan Rice running the show and Madrid's stars invisible.
There is.
The dressing room issues were impossible to hide. Mbappe and Vinicius couldn't coexist.
Y quiero pensar que físicamente no está bien, porque el Vinicius de la Champions de las remontadas, que reventaba al PSG, al Chelsea, al Liverpool y al Manchester City en la prórroga, que a los laterales rivales les tenía que cambiar siempre, que encaraba 1000 veces, a lo mejor se iba a 500, pero encaraba 1000 cada minuto, te estaba encarando y tirando desmarques. El Vinicius de ahora no es que no le salga un regate, es que no tira 1000 desmarques, es que no intenta 1000 regates, es que pide el cambio contra el Atlético de Madrid, es que pide el cambio contra el Barcelona al final de la Copa del Rey, es que pide el cambio el otro día del Mundial de Clubes contra la Juve. Es que yo quiero pensar que como físicamente no le da, mentalmente tampoco.
One would shine, the other disappear. Neither pressed, neither defended. Defensive injuries made everything worse. Carvajal's ACL tear, Milito's relapse from the same injury, David Alaba in a constant cycle of breakdowns. Ancelotti was left improvising with Tchouaméni as a centre-back, Ferland Mendy underperforming, Lucas Vázquez filling in at right-back, and Rudiger as the lone reliable defender. Young talents like Endrick and Arda Güler barely saw the field. In the end, Madrid won nothing. No La Liga, no Champions League, no Copa, no Supercopa. Tactically, they were predictable.
Al final, claro, Rodri, Vini y Kylian siempre estaban 2 contra 1, 3 contra 1 y ahí es difícil crear peligro y claro, con los centros ellos tienen gente alto, no tenemos un José Lu este año que quizás los pueda rematar en el área y eso obviamente si solo centra.
Psychologically, they were fragile. Ancelotti lost the locker room and his strategy of leaning on individual brilliance was fully exposed.
El Madrid tiene que cambiar de filosofía no le han demostrado con los 4-0, 5-2, 4-0, con las palizas que le han dado, que al fútbol hay que jugar bien para ganar casi siempre, que no se puede estar pendiente de Courtois, que te lo haga él, que te lo pare él, que te lo tire él para atrás, que la defensa sea magnífica y en dos arrancadas ganes un partido. Yo creo que la afición del Madrid y la gente que es del Madrid tiene que pedirle más.
This was not just a disappointing season, it was the season that proved Real Madrid was in total crisis. Xabi Alonso has arrived in Madrid with one mission: to completely rewrite the club's football DNA.
Realmente con la convicción de que podemos conseguir cosas importantes, dignas del Real Madrid, dignas de todas estas Copas de Europa, de todos estos logros que se han conseguido durante años, y con la afición, por supuesto. Encender a la afición, que estén orgullosos del equipo que ven en el campo, que transmitamos emociones, que transmitamos alegría, que transmitamos que la gente disfruta, que va al estadio para disfrutar, cuando está en la tele, en todo el mundo viéndonos, que diga: ese es el equipo que me gusta, ese es mi equipo, ese es mi Real Madrid, y si conseguimos encender eso, tendremos una fuerza imparable. Por eso mismo tengo la convicción y el buen presentimiento de que podemos empezar algo bonito. Y muchas gracias, y ¡a la Madrid!
Fresh off turning Bayer Leverkusen into an unbeaten double-winning machine, Xabi brings a style built on positional play, lightning-quick build-up and relentless pressing.
Players he wants to. So I think that's the challenge for Xabi, is to be able to impose the ideas that he very clearly has got. And he's very, very much a manager of systems, of mechanisms, of thoughtfulness, of intelligence, and I think he needs to be able to impose that to be able to get to the team that he wants Real Madrid to be.
His trademark 3-4-2-1 offers width in attack, layers in midfield and steel in defence. At Real Madrid, it's about more than just tactics, it's about creating a collective identity where the team defends and attacks as one. From the first pre-season friendlies, the difference was obvious. Against WSG Tirol, 20-year-old Dean Huijsen looked like a future defensive general. 120 touches, 111 passes at 94% accuracy, and inch-perfect long balls to launch attacks. This is exactly the type of intelligent ball-playing centre-back Xabi wants as the foundation for his build-up. But Alonso's Madrid isn't about sitting back and waiting. He wants every player, from striker to fullback, pressing with intensity, hunting the ball high, and suffocating the opponent. No passengers, no reputations shielding you from responsibility. Even stars like Vinicius Jr. know minutes must be earned. His trust in youth is already breaking with the old ways. Gonzalo Garcia's emergence is a prime example. A homegrown talent given real chances to shine. Under Ancelotti, players like him barely touch the grass. Under Alonso, they're being groomed for key roles. The philosophy blends control with aggression, structure with freedom. It's possession football with purpose, not just keeping the ball, but moving it at pace, breaking lines, and forcing the opponent to make mistakes. For stretches, Real Madrid actually looked like they were starting to grasp Xabi Alonso's blueprint. The shape shifted fluidly, sometimes a back three, sometimes a back four, with players rotating through zones in a way that felt rehearsed yet dynamic. Movement off the ball was sharper, and there were sequences where the ball zipped from defense to attack, exactly as Xabi envisioned. But then came the PSG game, and it felt like stepping back in time to the worst days under Ancelotti. The match exposed the old cracks. No clear idea in possession, no reading of the opponent's rhythm, and a midfield completely unable to impose itself. Xabi took a massive gamble, starting Mbappe, Vinicius and Gonzalo together in the front line. On paper it looked lethal, on the pitch it looked disjointed. Defensively it was even worse. Rudiger and Asensio committed basic, costly mistakes.
Rudiger, another mistake. Dembele, fleet-footed, takes his big chance.
Passing lanes were telegraphed, build-up from the back was panicked, and PSG pounced. Every time Madrid tried to progress play, the French side swarmed, forcing errors and cutting supply to the front three. And yet, despite that humiliation, the Club World Cup still planted a seed of belief.
Presiona, ojo Gonzalo que puede marcar para el tercero. Gonzalo, la picadita, qué golazo.
Inside Valdebebas, Xabi's double sessions, his meticulous match prep, and his absolute fearlessness in trusting academy players have started to shift the culture. Board members, veteran leaders, and young prospects alike talk about a sense of direction they haven't felt in years. Fans are beginning to see Madrid not just as a collection of stars, but as a team that might, with time, rediscover its identity. The losses still sting, but the foundation is being laid. One of the clearest takeaways from the Club World Cup was this: Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. just don't work hard enough without the ball.
Because in past times or previous managers, if they've had a problem with a player and they've dropped a certain player, that player will go above the manager's head and speak to the president direct. Where I think the president and the CEO have already said to Xabi, listen, you're the boss, you can control the players, you can tell them yes, no, you're on the bench, and everybody has to abide by your decisions. And I think that's the most important thing. Xabi's come out in the press on a number of occasions and said, if you don't work hard enough, you're out of the side.
Let's be honest, these two are elite in every attacking metric. Blistering pace, check. World-class skill, absolutely. The ability to win a game on their own, no doubt. But when it comes to tracking back, pressing aggressively, or putting in defensive shifts, the effort drops. And Xabi Alonso knows this has to change if Madrid are going to challenge for everything. Mbappe is the only player in the world right now who can realistically match Lamine Yamal's game-breaking influence.
El único que puede enfrentarse ahora mismo a Lamine, el único que veo, uno metiendo más goles que otro, pero el otro siendo
será al revés,
casi imparable,
¿no? Lamine
para mí es, bueno, en mi opinión, Paco, luego dices la tuya. Pero... Entonces yo, Lamine, me parece que está a un nivel estratosférico, porque al equipo le da unas cosas cuando está atascado.
Y Mbappé le iguala.
Pero Mbappé, si el equipo funciona como hoy, en la presión mejorada y todo esto, claro, Mbappé va a meter incluso más goles que la temporada pasada si el Madrid es capaz de hacer esto. Falta ver que lo sostenga, que hoy no lo ha sostenido.
But to do that, in a Madrid shirt, he needs to evolve. Year 1 was his adaptation period. Year 2 is when expectations spike. It's not enough to rack up 40+ goals if the team collapses in big games. The Frenchman has to shed the lone wolf instinct, work for his teammates, and think about trophies, not just numbers.
I expect his work rate to be better. I expect his work rate and his communication with his teammates to be a lot better, because personally his numbers were excellent, weren't they? He scored 2 yesterday in a friendly match. So I don't doubt that if he stays fit, he'll score another 40 goals. But what he did, he took a lot away from Vinicius Jr., didn't he? And he took a lot away from Rodrigo. So I expect that fluidity to be better. Real Madrid to be a lot better than they were last year. Squad's a lot bigger. Everybody who was injured, Dani Carvajal, Militao scored yesterday, Rodrigo scored yesterday. You know, Alaba played a part. So everybody who was injured is back. So this squad is big and it looks really strong and experienced. So I expect them to be a whole lot better than they were.
The same applies to Vinicius Jr. His obsession with the Ballon d'Or has been a distraction. Under Xabi, that drama needs to end. Madrid's attack should be about collective dominance, not dueling highlight reels. In fact, one of Xabi's biggest decisions this season might be whether these two should even share the pitch often. Both are most dangerous on the left wing, and when they've played together, there's been more friction than fluidity. Do you rotate them and let them compete for the same role, or do you risk fitting them into a system that forces one out of position?
I think they've got a real point to prove, haven't they, Madrid? Because we know last year they were poor. The forwards were not great. Last year they were talking about the next best players in the world are going to be Vinicius Jr. and Kylian Mbappe. Ballon d'Or time is now. Not one of them are mentioned, or fleetingly, but not really they're mentioned. And who are mentioned? An 18-year-old who was 17 last.
Luckily, Xabi now has a restructured squad to support his tactical decisions. If last season's nightmare was built on an injury crisis at the back, that problem looks addressed. Dean Huijsen adds composure and passing range from centre-back, while Alvaro Carreras offers fresh legs at left-back. And yes, Trent Alexander-Arnold's arrival means Madrid finally has a right-back who can dictate play, whip in deadly crosses, and add creativity from deep. And what about the lack of a true number 9? That's solved too. Gonzalo Garcia is emerging from La Fábrica with real confidence.
And it's not just because of the goals. His movement, the hold-up play, the combination play. If you see the second goal from Fran Garcia, it's actually Gonzalo who throws himself out into a wide area and has 2 combinations in which he picks not only the right pass, but plays it with the right pace. Tells me that this is not just a kid that is thinking about goals. He has concept about the game and what his role is within the team.
And Endrick, the Brazilian wonder kid, is ready to start proving he's more than hype. Also, Xabi Alonso needs to make sure the whole squad bleeds for the shirt the way Gonzalo Garcia does. This kid truly loves the club, and that's a huge factor. He's not here for the trophies, the 15 Champions League titles, the fame, or chasing a Ballon d'Or. That pure connection is exactly what Mbappe and Vinicius need to build.
But, I mean, the amount of midfielders they've got, Dan, is incredible. Someone should be able to sit in that role.
If there's one thing Real Madrid have been missing since Toni Kroos hung up his boots, it's the ability to truly control the midfield. Luka Modric could still dictate spells of play, but age has inevitably reduced his capacity to dominate entire matches. Xabi Alonso knows that without a conductor in the middle, his system can't hit full stride, and that's where Arda Güler comes in.
Ahora en este amistoso que pudimos ver es Arda Güler. Creo que va a ser vital y intocable esta temporada para el entrenador vasco del Real Madrid y está siendo una delicia verle jugar. Creo que si pensamos en un reemplazo de Toni Kroos nos equivocamos, no va a haber reemplazo de Toni Kroos en la vida, o sea, es imposible por mucha pena que nos dé. Pero Arda Güler es Arda Güler y es una diversión verle jugar, un placer.
The Club World Cup gave us a glimpse of what the young Turkish playmaker can do when given responsibility. He's calm under pressure, capable of dictating tempo, threading pinpoint assists, and hitting dangerous shots from range. More importantly, he has the vision to see passing lanes before they open, the exact profile needed to orchestrate Alonso's brand of high possession, structured football. Under Carlo Ancelotti, Güler was barely a factor, ending last season as the 17th most used player in the squad. Under Xabi, he's already climbed to 9th in minutes played during the tournament. His role has been adjusted too, now positioned deeper in midfield to be the team's metronome, showing for the ball constantly and taking responsibility for initiating attacks. This shift gives Madrid a player who can bridge the gap between defence and attack while keeping the game under control. One of Xabi Alonso's biggest wildcards for the season ahead is Franco Mastantuono, a player who doesn't rely on raw speed or flashy tricks, but on pure football intelligence. He reads the game like a seasoned veteran, finding pockets of space others overlook, and using that half second of extra vision to make the right pass or shot. In a squad loaded with high-profile attackers, Mastantuono could be the difference maker in games where brute force and pace aren't enough. At just 17, he already shows a rare ability to handle pressure. He stays calm in tight spaces, escapes markers with quick touches, and cuts inside with the intent to create or finish. This isn't a winger who just hugs the line. He's a problem solver, someone who can unlock low blocks when Madrid's usual speed-driven approach stalls. In Xabi's system, Mastantuono could thrive as an inside forward or roaming attacker, linking with Güler and Bellingham to overload central zones while still giving space for wing-backs like Alexander-Arnold and Alvaro Carreras to push high. His unpredictability means defences can't just double up on Mbappe or Vinicius. They'll have to account for him drifting into dangerous positions, arriving late in the box, or sliding the killer pass through a packed defence. With so many weapons in the squad, Xabi now has the tactical freedom to rotate and adapt without losing creativity. And in a long season, with over 60 games, players like Mastantuono are essential. Fresh legs, sharp minds, and fearless play. If Real Madrid wants to reclaim its throne in Spain and Europe, this mix of global superstars and fearless young talents might just be the perfect recipe. Xabi Alonso now holds one of the most stacked squads in world football, and he's moulding it into something truly terrifying. It starts between the posts with Thibaut Courtois, arguably the best goalkeeper on the planet, a wall with elite shot stopping, and the composure to launch counter-attacks with a single throw. In defence, Alonso can call upon a rock-solid back three that blends youth and experience. Dean Huijsen, a rising star with precision passing from the back, Antonio Rudiger, the warrior who thrives in high-pressure duels, and Eder Militao, quick, physical, and capable of shutting down elite forwards. Add Asensio for depth and versatility, and you've got a defensive core built for both power and possession. Out wide, Madrid boast wing-backs who are pure dynamite. Fran Garcia, Alvaro Carreras, and Trent Alexander-Arnold. In Xabi's system, these players won't just defend, they'll provide width, stretch defensive lines, and whip in deadly crosses. Their role is to create the depth and angles needed to break even the most stubborn low block. The midfield? A fortress laced with creativity. Aurelien Tchouameni anchors the team, breaking up play and dictating tempo. Arda Güler brings vision and craft, the conductor pulling strings in tight spaces. Federico Valverde is the engine, covering every blade of grass, while Jude Bellingham adds vertical runs, goals, and leadership beyond his years. Together they can suffocate opponents defensively and overwhelm them with patient, precise build-up. And then there's the attack, a treasure chest of options. Mastantuono, Endrick, Gonzalo Garcia, plus two of the most dangerous left-sided forwards alive, Kylian Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. Xabi now has the tactical flexibility to rotate, keep egos in check, and unleash combinations tailored to each opponent. This isn't just a collection of stars anymore. Under Alonso, it's becoming a disciplined, high-intensity, tactically intelligent unit with one goal: take Real Madrid back to the summit of Europe and dominate La Liga once again.